ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second episode of The Blend. I'm your host, Tifase Biza. Today, I'm with a student entrepreneur, Owen Mvula, from MAST, doing biomedical engineering, year 4. So, Owen, welcome on the show.
Thank you very much.
Can you share your story of becoming a student entrepreneur?
First of all, I've been an entrepreneur as much as I'm concerned almost 3/4 of my life. I started doing business, or I became an entrepreneur after writing my Form 4 exams, where I was working with Yellow Solar as an agent, as a sales agent. So after that, I gained experiences of how to become a business person, how I can convince customers, how I can sell my products, and many more. So from there, that's when I took my skills, expanded in more businesses on my own. So when I was going to school, to MAST, to start my first year, at that time I'd taken a pause of being a business person or being an entrepreneur, because I wanted to see how the academic life will be and how I will be able to balance with the business stuff. So I became a student entrepreneur when I was in second year. That was my second semester. After I had convinced myself to say, the stage I am, I can be able to balance school and also balance business. So that's when I became a student entrepreneur in second year, second semester.
All right. So, what inspired you to start your business while still in school?
Okay. So at school, in that semester, I did almost 3 kinds of businesses. I started with, I used to prepare chips that I would sell to my fellow students. So I had guys hired so that they will be preparing the chips for me and also making deliveries to these students. So the inspiration came from, it all started whereby we have 1 hour lunch break at school, which runs from 12 noon to 1 p.m., which is a very short period of time. So I had thought of this idea to say, what if I start preparing chips and deliver these chips to the rooms of these students, so that they shouldn't have to bother to go outside to the restaurants and look for food. So that's how I came up with that idea, and that's what inspired me to say, okay, these students have to be saving their time at the same time concentrating on their studies. I was also selling drawing materials to fellow engineering students. So at school, we only taught about the drawing stuff, but then we're not given the materials to do the drawing itself, to do the technical drawing or the engineering drawing. So I decided to be ordering stuffs from Limbi and then deliver them at school. So students would buy from me, and that was easier because not everyone would manage to come from school, go to Limbi, buy their stuffs, and then go back to school and then continue their studies. But then with me delivering to them, that made it easier. So that was also an inspiration to me to say that I should be delivering these drawing materials. Another business that I thought that came to me, that was at the end of the semester, was to start organizing a bus. So this bus would carry students from school, taking them back home, which is Kasungu. So apparently, in the past, there was only buses from MAST to Lilongwe and from MAST to Nzuzu. And then seeing how much students from Kasungu and Imponera were struggling with the transportation, and me being a student from Kasungu who was learning at MAST, I thought it was wise for me to come up with that idea to say, let me be organizing the bus. I should be linking up with the bus owners, and then when the bus comes to school, it should be carrying these students and drop them off at Imponera and Kasungu respectively. So yeah, that was how I was inspired to say I have to be of service to students. At the same time, I was also looking at how much I was struggling financially to make ends meet. So that also acted as part of my inspiration to say, okay, I have to come up with a business idea that would be able to sustain me through this period.
That's really interesting. So how do you balance academic responsibilities with entrepreneur episodes?
Um, when we were in first year, we learned about time management. So it was all about um, telling us how we can balance our time, how we can manage our time. So we learned how to prioritize the most important things, which is you talk of urgent and important, and then also have urgent but not important. We'll have important things but not urgent, and then also have important things which are also urgent. So the main reason I'm at school is to do studies. So I will prioritize school over everything. So when I see that there's a need for me to go to class, the first thing I'll do is for me to go to class before I do business. When I have free time, that's when I can do business. Um, the same applies when I have to study or do discussions. If I say that my business would compromise with me studying or me uh, having to do discussions, then I'd rather go for studies than do business. So it's just a matter of balancing my time to say, okay, this is how much free time I always have, and also this is how much I can sacrifice for business. So there are some times that I end up studying at night, especially from let's say 12 to something around 4. So when I do that, I do know that I can stay the whole day, maybe with less studying, because I've already done much work at that time. So I would use the rest of the free times I get during the day to do my businesses. So that's how I do manage to balance my school and my business.
All right. Every business, I do believe that every business has some challenges. So, what are some of the challenges you have faced as a student entrepreneur?
Um, at the time I was doing the business, chips business. I was doing the deliveries of chips. I hadn't followed the right protocol, the right procedure to say I can be delivering chips to students. That is, meet with the staffs and the right people that had to know to say I'm conducting this business on campus. So there was a time when the staffs, the lecturers, or those in charge had an inspection uh, to make sure that everything was working normally, or maybe there are things that just to make sure that things are not being done illegal at school. So that was the time that I ended up being caught by the staff, and I was forced to stop that business because it wasn't allowed, or if anything, I was supposed to follow the right procedure before I was continuing. So that was a big blow because by that time everything or let me just say my survival depended on that business. So that was the first challenge that I encountered as a student, as an student entrepreneur. Secondly, being a bus organizer, I've made several challenges. You know, we just organize the bus, the bus owners, and then I link up with the students. So there are sometimes that the bus owners will tell me to say the bus is in good condition, and then I would give them, or let's say I would pay them to say, okay, you can come and pick the students. In the process, they end up telling me, no, the vehicle is damaged, so we cannot manage to come. And then that's time wasted. At the same time, money has already been sent. So it becomes a huge task to say I have to look for a replacement for another bus to come and pick the students. So in that period of time, there will be pressure of me trying to look for another bus. At the same time, there will also be pressure from students and their parents to say, why is the bus not arriving until this time where they've already given you the transportation? So there's uh, that kind of pressure that I get to have when I'm doing the bus organizing business. Sure.
All right. So, how do you manage the stress and pressure?
Okay, so this is what happens. At first, I was doing this business alone. was organizing the bus alone. So it meant that I had to communicate with the bus alone. I had to collect money from the students alone, and I had to make sure that everything was operating normally alone. So the first time I encountered this challenge whereby the bus I booked it had some problems that it had failed to come to pick us up. There was a friend who offered to help, whereby he was communicating with the students, giving them hope, and I had to be dealing with the bus owners, that is to look for another bus and also to get the money refunded. So from then on to now, I do organize the bus with my friend. So since that time to now, I do have a friend, more like a collaboration. So we do share responsibilities to say you'll be dealing with the students and also be dealing with the bus owners. So in terms of these challenges, when these challenges occur, there is that sharing of responsibility that makes it easier, or the pressure becomes lesser than it was when I was doing it alone.
What valuable lessons have you learned from your entrepreneurial journey?
Never giving up. Business is all about risks. There will be lots of risks taken. Some of them very, very dangerous, huge ones. But I've learned to go through them all when the challenges come. I've learned to always to give it all the best. So, like for me, my value, or what I always believe in, is to offer good services to customers, maybe before I look at what I'll be making at the end. So that makes it that helps me to have a good relationship with my customers. So that's a lesson that I've learned, to say always respect your customers, always make your customers your first priority. When you do that, everything when you do that, at least things work for me. Sure.
Okay. How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively?
As I said earlier, I want to say, having learned about time management, it helped me to be categorizing the tasks, the activities that I get to have. So I have the academia stuff, I have the business stuff, and at the same time also have a life of my own. So I always sit down to write all those tasks and then categorize them. So I'll put them into 4 sections: important, not important; urgent, not urgent. So when I categorize them, I'm able to say this is what I'll start with, and then I'll follow up with that, and then I'll finish with this task. So that's how I manage to prioritize my tasks.
Alright. What tools or strategies help you stay organized?
I'll still say the time management frame, the categorizing of tasks, they help me stay organized. Because by the end of the day, I will know to say I have to do business. This time I have to do school. When I'm to do school, I have I'll always have things planned to say this is what I'm going to do. If I'm going to study, this is what I'm going to study. If I'm to go for discussions, I know what we're going to discuss. So I get ready for that. At the same time, when I'm to do business, I do categorize my things to say, okay, this is the first thing that I'll do, and then this is what I'll follow up with, and then this is what I'll finish with. So for example, when I'm organizing the bus, the first thing I have to do is to look for bus. And I always make sure that I have 2 or 3 options, so that if one fails, I'll be able to jump into the other one. When I do that, that's when I start looking for customers. And in the process, I always make sure that I should be in touch with the bus owners, so that I should be giving them updates. And that's how I do get things done. So that helps me to be organized when I have my things planned, my tasks categorized.
Alright. Some other people say that as a person, you need to focus on one thing. You can't do two things at once. That means they say if you do two things, that means the other thing will suffer and you focus on the other thing. So how do you maintain focus on your business and studies?
That's very true to say you cannot save two masters at once. But then at the same time, when we grow, we learn that there will have to be sacrifices that will have to be made for us to succeed. It's more of the same when they talk of survival of the fittest. This world doesn't have a proper formula to say this is what you have to do for you to succeed. There are some who have made it out of school, and there are some who have made it out of business. Some have made it out of family. So, so knowing that there is no proper formula for you to make it in this world, I decided to be trying out several options to say, as I'm doing school, I can also be doing business. So how I maintain my focus on both of these is, as I said earlier on, to say, being at school, the first priority is to do school. So which means, as far as I'm there, I'll have to make sure that I don't fail my studies. I'll put as much effort as I can. At the same time, to be there and survive, I also have to be making money, food, accommodation, and what have you. All those need money. So looking at financial status at home, I know that that's a huge responsibility for them to cover all that. So if I sleep on one thing, that means the other one will fail. If I only focus on school, that means I will not be able to have money for food. I will not be able to have money for my accommodation and some other school stuffs. You talk of assignments and what have you, they all have to be printed and they all need money. So I treat them both as important things, but mainly prioritizing school so that I don't have to fail school. So yeah, I just make sure that I put focus on both things and don't sleep on one thing. By doing that, I end up prevailing and up surviving. Sure.
Alright, coming to marketing ways, how do you market your business to potential customers?
I would say I do online advertising. So at school we have these WhatsApp groups that we can share information as students. And there are also groups specifically for businesses to say you can advertise businesses anytime, every time. I also have my own WhatsApp group for my customers who wants to board my bus. So I simply do advertise my business through all these WhatsApp groups. There are sometimes that we get to print posters. When we print posters, we paste them in all the notice boards at campus. So when these students see these posters, when these students see these advertisements on WhatsApp groups and what have you, they know how to reach me and how to access my services. Sure.
How do you handle customer feedback and criticism?
I handle that with positive mentality. Every business, you have criticism. So there's positive feedback and also negative feedback. There are some people who are always there on my side to say, wow, thanks for your services. that encourages me. There are also some people who get to criticize me to say your business, your services were poor, this is and that. But then knowing that I have positive feedback, it gives me energy to continue offering these services. So every criticism, be it is positive or negative, I do take it as something that I have to work on, that I have to improve on. So when someone negatively criticizes my services, I'll have to make sure that I put effort so the next time I deliver good services. When I do that, that keeps me going. And it also improves me as a person to say, no matter what I do in the near future, out of school, there will be criticism. And the only way that I have to deal with that is focus on the positives and work on my weaknesses. When I do that, I'll be able to prevail along.
Alright, earlier on you talked of collaborations. What role do these collaborations or partnerships play in your business?
These collaborations or partnerships play a huge role in my businesses. As I hinted on earlier on to say, there's that sharing of responsibilities. That sharing of responsibilities makes me have some sort of free time, or some sort of, or it's more like I'm buying time to say, okay, the time that my partner is doing this, I can focus on other things at that time. So to say, at the time that my partner will be communicating with the customers, I'll be able to use that time maybe for study or maybe for discussions. The time that maybe my partner will be doing advertisements, I might be using that time to communicate with the personas and what have you. So the sharing of responsibility with the partners or with my collaborators helps me to be able to do things with less pressure, not to panic, at the same time helping me to focus on studies sometimes, thereby being able to balance both school and business.
And how do you navigate conflicts or disagreements with your partners?
We always talk whenever we have a disagreement, or whenever there's something that we have to be clear of with each other. Then always summon each other and say, oh brother, let's talk it out. So we share ideas. Everyone has to express their opinions, their ideas. At the end of the day, we have to make sure that we come up with one thing that is going to help us both. So that's how we get to handle with these disagreements and conflicts.
Alright, what are your short-term and long-term goals for your business?
Short-term goals, as we speak, is to make sure that I increase my territory, make sure that I get as many customers as I can, so that maybe I should also be having 2 or 3 buses that these customers will be boarding. That will help me to grow. It will increase my territory. At the same time, as a person, it also help me to grow and be able to handle as much pressure as the customers have been increased. Talking of long-term goals, I've not thought of that to have a specific or a detailed goal, but if anything, in the near future, I do think of having my own transportation company, be it will be bus, or I'll be owning trucks, tankers, but I do have that vision or that goal to say in the future I should have my own transportation company.
Right. I have different audiences. There are the young adults, uh, men and women. So there are a lot of people whom, as you being a student entrepreneur, you inspire, right? So what advice could you give to aspiring students? Uh, what advice could you give to aspiring student entrepreneurs?
Um, they should always have schedules. They should also uh, learn to apply time management that they do learn in class. They should be able to categorize their tasks. So having all that in their mind, they can be able to come up with business ideas that will not compromise with their studies. They will come up with how they'll be able to be delivering their services without affecting their studies negatively. So all they have to do is be able to apply what they learn in time management. After that, be able to grow their marketing skills. They also have to have in mind to say business is not about a win. There will also be losses. That goes along with risks that they take. So having all that in mind, they'll be able to make proper choices to say, this is the business I can do, this is how much risk I'm doing, this is how much I will get if everything goes well. So students, they will have to learn to do all that, to apply their time management, and at the same time they'll have to learn marketing skills, and also they have to learn that business is about risks. Sure.
How has your education influenced your entrepreneur journey?
As far as I'm concerned, we are not at school to be employed, even though there's that factor to say after school we all looking forward to be employed. So when in your mind, when you have your first thought to say I'm not at school to be employed, you get to give yourself that chance to say I'm at school to learn ideas, to gain skills that maybe I'll be able to expand my territories. So with whatever I'm learning in class, whatever I'm learning at school, and with the business that I am doing right now, it's able to help me visualize my future. With the skills that I'm learning, it's giving me that picture to say, this is how I can apply, this is the knowledge that I'll be able to apply so that I should achieve this in the near future. So the business and the school at the same time is just preparing me for the future to say, for me to become a complete man, I'll need both school and both business mentality. At the end of the day, I also, instead of me looking forward to being employed, I'll end up being an employer. So yeah, that's it.
How do you see your business evolving after graduation?
I see myself changing from being a student entrepreneur maybe to a full-time entrepreneur. Being a student entrepreneur, my market has only been focused on students. My first first priority has always been to save my fellow students. After graduating, I have the whole world in front of me, the whole world waiting for my services. So I see myself using the skills I've gained as a student entrepreneur, the ways I've been able to deal with the pressure, the challenges as a student entrepreneur, and being able to apply that as a full-time entrepreneur. So I see myself growing big, and also being able to take on more risks in life as an entrepreneur. So,
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. To me, as also a student, I've learned a lot from you, and I hope my audience has also learned a lot from you. Yeah, so to my audience, this is the end of our podcast on the blend. Yeah, until the next episode. Don't forget to like. Bye.